students, welcome to my physics class. This is Shumi Roy from Techno India Group Public School, Shiliguri, and today we are going to learn about motion and time. In order to study the motion of bodies, we should first know the meaning of term distance. In our everyday language, the word distance is used. But what exactly is distance? Let us understand this by taking an example. Suppose a man lives at place A and he has to reach another place B. Now the man starts from point A and covers an area or path to reach point B. Now the length of the path AB gives us the actual distance. Thus, distance can be defined as the total path covered by an object in a given interval of time. As we have learned about distance, let us define the term motion. We all know a man, animal, birds, cars, buses, trains, ships and aeroplanes do not remain stationary all the time. They can move from one place to another. For example, a man moves when he walks along a road. A bird moves when it flies in the sky. A cheetah moves when it runs in the jungle. And a fish moves when it swims in water. Similarly, a car or bus moves on a road. A train moves on the track. A ship moves in water. And an aeroplane moves when it flies in air from one place to another. The movement of a body is called motion. A common characteristic of all the moving objects is that they change their position with time. We can define motion as follows. An object is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to time. Similarly, an object is said to be at rest if the object does not change its position with time. For example, a tree is fixed at a place, so we say that it is stationary or rest. Similarly, a house, a school, a factory, electric poles and telephone poles are all stationary objects which remain fixed at a place. Motion can be of two types: uniform and non-uniform motion. A body has a uniform motion if it travels equal distance in equal interval of time, no matter how small this time interval may be. A truck moving in a straight line is an example of uniform motion. A body has a non-uniform motion if it travels unequal distance in equal interval of time. The motion of a train starting from a railway station is an example of non-uniform motion. This is because when the train starts from a station, it moves a very small distance in the first second. The train moves a little more distance in the second second, and so on. And when the train approaches the next station, the distance travelled by it per second decreases. An object can be fast or slow depending upon the distance covered by them in a given interval of time. In our current example, since a car covers more distance in a given interval of time than a bicycle, the bicycle is said to be slower motion and car in faster motion. If a car is running slow, we say that its speed is low. And if a car is running fast, then we say that its speed is high. Thus, the speed of a body gives us an idea of how slow or fast that body is moving. We can now define the speed of a moving body as follows. Speed of a body is the distance travelled by it per unit time. The speed of a body can be calculated by dividing the total distance covered by the total time taken to travel this distance. The formula for speed can be written as speed is equal to total distance covered by total time taken. Unit of speed is generally measured in meter per second and kilometer per hour. We can determine the speed of a given object once we can measure the time taken by it to cover a certain distance. Time is defined as a duration in which all things happen. The basic unit of time is second. Often we need to measure intervals of time which are much shorter than a day. Clocks or watches are perhaps the most common time measuring devices. Many time measuring devices were used in different parts of the world before the pendulum clock became popular. Sundials, water clocks and sand clocks are some examples of such devices. Different designs of these devices were developed in different parts of the world. Now, let us see how these ancient devices worked. The sundial works on the principle that when the sun is at highest point in the sky, the image of an object formed by its light is smallest, and when it is at the lowest point, the image formed is the longest. Our next device is water clock. A water clock uses the flow of water to measure time. A container is filled with water and the water is drained slowly and evenly out of the container. Sand clock. A sand clock works on the principle that all the sand from the upper chamber falls into the lower chamber in a fixed amount of time. Nowadays, most commonly a digital clock or an analog clock is used. The most common time measuring device is digital clock. A digital clock is a type of clock that displays the time digitally, that is in numericals or other symbols. Analog clocks are most often using famous clocks. They have faces, moving hands of hour and minute handles over the arrangement of fixed number dials that are placed in a circle that signifies 12 hours of one day. The smallest time interval that can be measured with common clocks and watches is 1 second. However, now special clocks are designed that can measure time intervals smaller than a second. Some of these clocks can measure time intervals as small as 1 millionth or even 1 billionth of a second. You might have heard the terms like microsecond and nanosecond. 1 microsecond is 1 millionth of a second. A nanosecond is 1 billionth of a second. The working of clocks is rather complex, but all of them make use of some periodic motion. One of the most well-known periodic motion is that of a simple pendulum. In our next class, we will learn how a simple pendulum works and how to draw a distance time graph. Thank you.